Hey, how you guys doing? Mercurial here, and I want to talk to you about the Skoda T25. Now, if you're going to be playing this tank this weekend and you want to try working on getting your ace tanker, I'm going to be going over some of the different things that I just did to earn my ace tanker in the tank, and so you can emulate them on your matches and try to accomplish the same thing. So, let's get after the initial stats of the tank. So here we got the Skoda T25 on its base setup. It's got a pretty good 3-clip autoloader, okay? We've got 1,915 DPM, which is pretty darn nice. Your average damage is 110. I can tell you that I've been seeing usually about 100 as my average damage, but everything's a little bit different. 132 on the regular ammunition for pen. If we sit there and we look, we're going to be looking at 185 for the gold rounds, which is pretty good. Even at tier 8, this is a very competitive round with 185 pen. Granted, you're not going to be going through the front of heavies, but if you get on their flanks or the rear, 185 is good enough to do anything that you're going to be seeing. All right. For the clip itself, we're only looking at a 7.67 time for reload, which is a really fast reload for a 3-round clip, and the time between shots is 1.33 seconds. That is unbelievably fast. I mean, really good. Now, the downside to the gun is that the aim time is 2.01 seconds. Okay, so you're going to be reloading that next round before you can get fully aimed. Now, if you're firing at anything that's greater than, I would say, probably 100 meters, maybe around 200 meters, you're going to want to wait that extra time for your reticle to reduce all the way, get that bloom down. Okay, but if you're within close quarters and everything like that, just go ahead and drop round after round after round. You're going to be fine. All right. Actually, on the gun's pretty good. 0.36. Pretty happy with that. And other things that we want to look at, top speed of the tank, 60 kilometers. Now, this says no Cromwell, okay, but it gets around the map pretty darn well. And its resistance on soft, medium, and hard is actually not too bad. So we're going to be able to do some pretty good things with this tank. It's got good maneuverability. Now, the actual, if we look at the 3D model of the tank, it has got no armor. You're looking here at 70, 67 into the turret 50. I think the thickest part is right around here at 104. So if you bounce with this thing, even if you make it extreme angled, you're not getting up to anything. I mean, chance of ricochet is going to be really low. If you bounce with this, I mean, just count your blessings because pretty much everything's going to go into you. Look at the side of the tank, 35. Look at the side of the hole here, 35. Again, the rear is going to be 29 lower, 35 upper. Usually, a lot of times, HE will just go through this thing. KV2s, OIs, things with the big derp, you really want to look after or look and be scared of. Okay. Let's see here. Why didn't this show up? I want to show you guys the depression. Here we go. Okay, gun depression. So right over the front and majority of the rest of the tank, gun depression is 10 degrees. Right over the back deck, you've only got 8 degrees of gun depression, but that's actually not too bad. If you consider that we're aiming over the engine, okay, 8 degrees of gun depression is actually pretty good. A lot of tanks in World of Tanks actually have a raised engine deck, so you end up having like a +1 depression. Okay, so gun elevation is 20 degrees. That's fairly typical. Gun traverse is going to be 40 degrees a second, so which is a fairly fast turret. I'm not going to say it's the fastest turret out there, but it's definitely nowhere near the slowest. It's quick enough to do everything that you need to do. I believe that's actually faster than like even a bat chat. This is probably in line with the speed of like maybe the T40's turret, or the 140. Sorry, the Object 140. I think that's as fast as the Object 140's turret. So let's see here. On my tank, personally, right now, I've got Brothers in Arms, I've got Smooth Ride, and I've got Snapshot. I also run Safe Storage, okay? So with those on, we can see that my reload time dropped down to 7.5 seconds, and my aim time dropped down to 1.97. Let's see here, equipment-wise, I am running, let's throw that on there as well. I am running a enhanced gun lane drive. I'm running vents, and I believe I'm running optics as well. Can't use a gun lane drive. So, yep, that's what I'm using right now for equipment. So, with those on there as well, that brings down my reload time to 7.34, which is pretty darn good. You know, my aim time 1.75, which is almost as fast as I can clip. All right. Uh, I'm just pretty darn happy with this. Now, my power to weight ratio 21.46, that's pretty darn good for this tank. It can scoot and good. It's not going to be very easy to hit that 60 miles per hour, but you can get there, okay? So, anyways, that's enough looking at the stats for the tank. Oh, one other thing I want to notice right here. My view range on it for tier 6 is pretty good, 412, okay? Now, if I could push that up even more. If, like, say I was running, whatever, what is it, consume? Butchery? Okay, if I was running those, and let's say that I had situational wellness and recon, you can get up almost to the max view range, or max, you're over top the max spotting range at 449, which max spotting range I believe is 445. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong there. But anyways, that's enough looking at that. Let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. So right here, setting on live oaks, and let's go ahead and get after it. Okay, so I'm sit here, and initially I look at their team composition. They've got 6 mediums for me to deal with. At my tier, they've got a Cromwell and a T-3485. Okay, we've got an M4, a Matilda, and a T-34. Now I expect maybe half of these tanks would be over on the tracks, and maybe a heavy. Okay, myself personally, I like running tracks. It's just I feel like it's a lot easier, especially with my gun depression, to play over here than it would be in town. Our lights out there, they get initial spot of the M6 who's pushing towards town. Very typical for having to go town. I got a Cromwell with me. I'm pushing up with him. He's being aggressive. I want to be aggressive. We see, okay, Cromwell B. We got him in front of us. All right, that's good to go. Now, 750 health. I know that, I'm probably going to average about 300 damage when I drop my clip. So, all right, there's T-3485. So we got 2 of them lit up. Trying to adjust how I want to accomplish this. And I don't really want to hang out a whole lot here right now because Artie is already on us. Both of us, me and the Cromwell, are spotted, and they're dropping rounds over here. We can see a majority of their force over here is pushing into town. So, and we got an Exquisitor that's come over as well. Now at this point, their 3485 has pushed over the tracks on into the other side to come and try to flank us. I would suggest if you are coming across, never to do this because you don't know what is here, you don't know what is here, and they're going to be able to put rounds into you when you're lit. Now granted, the OY, it's going to be hard for him to hit and everything like that, but this Chinu and this Dicker Max, they'll put the rounds into him fairly easy. So don't be that guy that pushes out there unless you know what's over there or you are counting tanks, okay? So I'm going to go over and try to assist my team with this T-3485 that is pushed across. So they're already putting rounds into him. There you go. He's starting to go down pretty fast. Yeah, he's down to double digits. He's pretty much wrapped up. I don't think I even get a round in him here. I just got to the party too late on that one. So, all right. I don't want to stay hanging out there because I don't want the same thing to happen to me. Get rounds from their tanks. Cromwell is pushed over. Let's go ahead and change my view here. Cromwell's down pretty low right now. The Cromwell B is. So let's go finish him off and get that premium heavy out of the way. All right. Oh, so there's the T-34. I dunked the first round in the dirt. Next 2 rounds, go ahead and finish off. All right. Go ahead and clip real fast. Get up here. Look at him again. Again, round in the dirt. Second round finishes him off. And that was just a poorly aimed round right there. Just squeezing the trigger too fast. All right, so I hold lock him, push over, put my rounds into him, take a round in the process of doing so. Cromwell had hit me. And I don't think that was just Cromwell. Maybe Artie hit me as well. Oh, Dicker Max probably hit me. That's what it was. Put 1 round on the Dicker Max, fire a second, which wasn't needed. He was over the berm way too far. So whatever. Do a real quick reload. You'll finish up this Cromwell B. I know he's hole locked on that target. He's not even looking at me. He was just too focused. And we're going to push towards Dicker Max. Been counting tanks. I know that there's nothing else behind us, Dicker Max, to support him. So I'm going to have no problem pushing into him. I just want to make sure that I get up on his side and not trying to attack him face on. Here we go. Drop my clip. 1, 2, 3. He's out. All right. At this point, you can see that they've got an arty here, and the rest of their force is over here in town, pushing towards our cap. So I do not want to push towards cap. I want to go back and defend our cap, okay? They probably have got another arty here or down here, okay? Which would be smart to try to get out, but I don't want to try to run over into this or run into that and then try to run back, okay? It's just like getting caught with your pants down. So right up here, you can see that I started an initial push, and then I realized, looking at my map, that, okay, yeah, this stuff hasn't happened, and I start to push back. Now, right up here, I marked at the flag, okay, and I asked for help, hoping that the Cromwell and the Type 58 will end up following me, or some of these other tanks will turn around. The Firefly has turned around, okay, but... and this is very typical of low-tier matches. Actually, it happens a lot in high-tier matches, too. That you'll win a flank, and guys will just push over and just sit on cap in open fields. It's a stupid thing to do. I don't know why people do it. You're out in the open. You're exposed. All you got to do is have one person that lights you, and then you got everyone else shooting at you. So, but people still do it. They do it a lot. They never learn. Even at tier 10, people do it. They don't learn. So, Cromwell starts sitting on cap. I think the Type 58 is going to join here in a second. So, come over here, and I want to set up to try to take out targets. So, this is an outstanding position right here, okay? We've got the cover right here from the freaking, the box cars, all right? And then I'm somewhat in a hold down, so I can just shoot underneath them and move back and forth to hit my open gap, be able to hit what I want. If they are trying to return fire, it's going to be way hard for me because they've got to shoot from 300, 400 meters away to try to get underneath this sliver to hit me, okay? So all I really need is to not hit that button. All right, but I will speed this up just a little bit back to where I was. All right, so all we need to do here is just hold on and hope that, you know, our Firefly's pushing up. He's probably going to light. I'm going to sit here and wait for engagements. Nothing's coming around, and there we go. We have spotted that they've got a large amount of their forces coming back to go ahead and reset the cap. And those guys that are sitting there on the cap are going to get smoked here in a second. You know, just not a smart choice. I push up trying to see if I can get rounds in the side of this KV2 or T150. But they're right out of my render range. I don't want to get within the spotting range of that ELC, and I decide not to shoot at this ELC, okay? High probability that I will get spotted if I shoot him, or I don't know what his view range is, but I could get spotted if I shoot at him. I don't know what else is around. And really low probability of me hitting him. Our Firefly goes down, and I see that their Church 3 and Matilda 4 are pushing in. So I set up to get rounds into them. Right here, okay, spot Churchill 3, and put in rounds. I was really expecting myself to get lit here, but as soon as I start putting rounds into him and I realize I'm not lit, I figure out, okay, he's got a junk crew. He can't even see me, so we'll go ahead and just sit here. I'll continue to put rounds into him, track him again, reload again, and then finish him off. This is just farming damage. All day long. All right, he's out. Get a real quick reload. And I was trying to come up here to see if I can get eyes on Matilda. Our SU-8 starts pushing up the edge. I don't know if you forgot there was a Matilda up there. And he ends up getting freaking hit and attacked. Kind of see the Matilda aim in here. And just, yeah, rounds not going in. Missed all those. All right. So, and he disappears. And so he probably has camo on his crew. So I'm going to go up, utilize these bushes to try to spot him and start hitting him. Of course, he jumps on cap. And right here, I can show you why I am not spotting him, okay? If you look here, there is this bush here, which I could potentially spot through, but because there is a second bush right here, I am effectively double bushed, but that causes where I can't spot. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to move behind this bush to be able to view him and then back off and utilize the bush to be able to shoot him. So, yep, can't see through that second bush. Come over. There we go. We spot him. I back off. And right here, you see how that bush was transparent? And I could see his tank easily. And then I backed off so that all of a sudden now I cannot see his tank real easy. That's getting 15 meters behind your bush so that you can sit there and shoot at your target and not break camo. All right? Right here, put rounds into him. And he knows where they're coming from, but he hasn't spotted me. So he goes dark again. Relight him. Again, get behind the bush. Let it go transparent. And start putting rounds back into him. Now, I can tell you that those two clips right there, I had loaded gold rounds for them. Okay? Wasn't exactly needed since I had the side of his hole, but I was expecting that he was going to end up being facing me. And the Matilda can be trollish with its frontal armor, and I could have potentially bounced. I didn't want to have to worry about that. So that threat is neutralized. Let's go ahead and go back and take care of this KV2 and T150. So we have an ELC. He's covering town. If the two heavies decide to push that way, I want to come over here and cover our side of the tracks, so I make sure that they're not pushing us this way. And all I'm going to do is get over here and, again, utilize the bush and try to light targets. And I'm going to tell you why I only use this bush. So I set up in this bush right here, okay? And this is why. If I was to push across the water here, down and across, and utilize this bush, if there was a heavy here, like the KV2 or the T150, I would have to stay here and engage them. It is going to be hard for me to roll back up this hill, not taking shots, and then get back into proper cover, all right? So this way, by staying here, I have left myself an adequate spot to run away, get back, run back this way, get over the tracks, go whatever ultimate escape route I want. But if I was up here, my escape route would have to be either underneath this track and back this direction, on the outside of the cars there, or I'd have to push back up this hill, which I'm just going to get shot. Not very smart. So let's go ahead and get back at it. Spot the KV2. Okay, he's pushing over. He's got 584 health. Right there, I know, looking at him, okay, he's going to pretty much take 6 rounds for me to be able to finish him off. Okay, mark where he's at. The reason for doing that is just a lot of people don't watch their minimap, and I want to ping there so that all of a sudden they pay attention and be like, hey, something was spotted. Look over here. Okay, so sitting there waiting for him to push across. I still don't want to push into him. And already asked us to light him up. Get behind the bush. Again, he can't see where I'm at. Start putting rounds into him. There we go. Got 2 rounds into him, so I'm going to need 4 rounds to complete. Well, never mind. I'm going to need 3 rounds to complete. Already was able to get a hit into him. Go ahead and do a reload. He's backing off. I'm fairly confident that I'm going to be able to win this engagement 1v1. So I go ahead and push over. Utilize this bush right up here. And, okay, see him, put 1 round into him. He's looking right at me. I don't want to continue the fight there. Okay, he's got that big derp. All he's got to do is be able to hit me once, and I'm going to be out. Now, I come down here, trying to use, he's got really bad gun depression. I'm trying to use that in my favor. He's got to push over so far to be able to hit me. Dunk my first round. Second round goes in, and he just rushes his shot. He wasn't counting bullets. He didn't know, so he tried to force it. Right now, I've got an easy kill. Go ahead and do a fast reload. At this time, our ELC has spotted up the T150 who's sitting at the back of their flag. And I just completed getting the top gun, but I figured, hey, why not get some more damage in? So I'm fairly confident that the T150 is going to be looking over at the ELC if he spotted it, and especially now since he took some damage, he's going to be definitely looking at the ELC. So come across, should have his side. We do have his side. Put one round into him, that tracks him, and bam, there we go. Match is over. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the after action. So, got myself my ace tanker on it, got myself a high caliber, and a top gun through it. We ended up shooting a total of 8 tanks and destroyed 7 of them. If I was shooting a little bit straighter and, not been hull locking and not really paying attention, I could have killed the Excelsior as well. All right. Let's see here. Ended up getting 5,449 experience. That's pretty darn good, and I'll show you why. Okay, so 3,149 base or damage, and our base experience was 1,579, which is pretty nice. And if we go ahead back here and we look, I ended up having a personal reserve on that was times 100%, so that doubled it there. And then I completed, I'm not sure what the mission was, but I completed a mission which gave me 711, so that's what brought me up all the way. Now I received 55K worth of credits, but because I did drop gold rounds, I ended up going in the negative 2,311, which really wasn't needed. I could have just switched off of gold and saved myself some money there. If I was running a non-premium account, that would have been a 21K almost loss, and that's just not feasible for a lot of people. So no sense in that. I fired 42 times. Out of those 42, 35 hit, and out of those 35, 32 of them pinned. So I'm pretty happy with my results. Just getting in there, working that terrain, working the bushes, making sure that once you do spot, get back behind the bushes at 15 meters, let the bush go, no longer be transparent, so you can see the tank, and start putting rounds on them so you don't break camo, and then just working the ridge lines. All right, this is an outstanding tank. I hope you guys have good luck with it, and I'll be seeing you out there in the battlefield.